So I made a video talking about how the UK is gonna ban wet wipes, which is weird, I know, but then I was like, what other crazy things did the UK ban? Or what weird laws did they make or have? Boy, is it crazy, because the UK has some crazy laws, guys, which I didn't know before, and you probably didn't. Like, for example, you cannot walk your cow between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., which is really disappointing. Like, what if I wanted to walk my cow between that time? Are you serious? No, obviously not. Seriously, UK, what are those laws? Anyway, so today I'm gonna be talking about some, not all, because they got a lot of the really weird laws that the UK had. So let's get started with the cow one, because apparently it's illegal to walk your cow between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., which, by the way, look it up. It's still a law. But why? So basically this law comes from the Metropolitan Streets Act of 1867, so it's old, like really old. But in that law it says you cannot drive or walk cattle through certain streets between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. And cattle includes cows, bulls, oxen, calves, and even sheep and goats. And apparently they made it to stop traffic problems and crowds and accidents in busy streets, because I guess they had a lot of cows walking in the streets back then. So they made a law to make it illegal between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., which were the busy hours back then. And it was illegal to take your cow for a walk between those hours. But if you have a cow, it's okay to take it for a walk in the early morning or late evenings. Yeah, that's fine. But if you're caught walking your cow, you apparently could be fined 10 shillings per cow, which is about half a pound, I guess, like half a British pound, which was a lot back then, like back in the 1800s. But the crazy thing for me is that this law still exists, like they did not remove it. So yeah, if you have a cow at home, don't take it at a walk during that time. You thought I was done with cows, my friend. Well, no, because apparently the UK had another law that says you cannot be drunk in charge of cows. So this law also comes back from the 1800s, and it's from the Licensing Act of 1872, and it says that it's illegal to be drunk while you're in charge of any cattle, horse, carriage, or steam engine. But you know what, my friend? This law actually makes sense, you know? You don't want to be walking in the street and then seeing someone who's drunk with a cow. You know, not the best sight. You would be scared. But also, what's weird is that this law is active. They did not remove it. Like, apparently the UK thinks it's still not okay to be drunk with a cow, which kind of makes sense too, you know? Like, imagine in busy London someone with a cow and that person is drunk. Yeah. Actually, that would be funny. But in my opinion, this law kind of makes sense, because this law exists because drunk people cannot control big animals, which obviously makes sense. And cows can run and panic and hurt people, and if you're drunk, then you cannot control that animal. So you know what, my friend? When they made that law, they had a point. But why they kept that law? Again, for me, is the weird thing. To move away from cows a little bit, also Ding Dong Ditch is illegal in the UK. Yeah, you know the game that you play with your friends, like, you know, when you knock on someone's door or ring the doorbell and then you just run to annoy that person? I think we all played that game. Like, you, my friend, you definitely played that game, right? But yeah, this game is apparently illegal in the UK, and it's under the Metropolitan Police Act of 1839, section 54. So if you knock on someone's door on purpose and then you run away, then it's illegal. And apparently it's illegal because it annoys people and it can scare elderly or vulnerable people, and because it wastes people time. Yeah, that's seriously why they made it illegal. Honestly, this is the most Karen law I've ever seen. Like, bro, it's a game. But even if you're a kid and you're caught, your parents would be notified by the police and there might be trouble. Like, I don't know what the UK is thinking having this law, but I don't even know if the police cares about it. If a police sees a kid playing Ding Dong Ditch, that the police would run after the kid, right? Like, the police has better things to do. But anyway, this law is old, from like 1839, but it still exists. It's an actual law. But this coming law is, or was an actual law. It stopped being a law anymore, but I had to talk about it because it's really weird, because apparently it was illegal that you don't practice archery. Yeah, you know archery, like the bow and arrow? Yeah. So you had to practice it, and if you didn't, it was illegal. So the law says that if you're between 17 and 60, you had to know archery and you had to maintain your skill. But the thing is, this law is back from like 1541, so it's old, and it's called Unlawful Games Act of 1541. And let me tell you, it's stupid. Like, my friend, It's it's really stupid. The law doesn't just tell you to be good at archery. No, it was illegal to play games like cards, dice, or even tennis and other unlawful games. I don't know what was unlawful back in 1541, because playing those games would distract you from your archery. So if you were not practicing and playing games instead, you were fined, which is crazy. And apparently every home in the UK had to keep a bow and arrow, because you know the UK back then loved fighting, and they were fighting with basically everyone. And because they were fighting a lot, they wanted everyone to use a bow and arrow because they used that weapon a lot in fights and wars and whatever. But gladly, the UK stopped this law from being an official law in 1961, right? Like a little bit late, but at least it's gone, you know, and you don't have to practice archery in the UK anymore. But it was still stupid. Like, it was so stupid that I really had to include it, even though it's not a law anymore. Yeah, it was it was dumb, man. But at least this law was old and it was gone. But this coming law is actually recent, because apparently you cannot use your phone to buy something from a drive-thru. Yeah, you know how you have like Apple Pay or Tap to Pay on any other phone? So apparently it's illegal to use it during drive-thru. But why? Like, everyone uses their phone to pay nowadays, right? Well, yeah, but also it's illegal in the UK to hold or use your phone while you're driving or in charge of a vehicle, even if the car is stopped at a traffic light or waiting at a drive-thru. Yeah, you cannot use your phone. So if you use your phone to pay for something, that technically means that you're using your phone while you're in the car, and this would get you a £200 fine and 6 penalty points on your license. And I know it's weird, but how to use your phone to pay? Well, okay, this is some advice for people in the UK. If you want to use your phone to pay at drive-thru, you have to first put your car at park and turn the engine off, which I know is kind of weird because the whole point of a drive-thru is to go quickly, get your order, pay, and leave. I know. But if you want to do it without it being illegal, yeah, you have to stop the car. But also, I don't know if any cops actually care. Like, I don't know if a cop would catch you for using your phone to pay, right? Like, who would do that? Like, seriously, and if you're a cop in the UK and watching this, please let me know. Like, would you actually catch someone? Like, was anyone ever caught because of this? I really don't know. But back to animal laws, it's also illegal to handle fish suspiciously in the UK. Whatever that means, yeah. So apparently this law comes from the Salmon Act of 1986, and it says that you cannot process salmon in suspicious circumstances. Saying it out loud is even weirder, but this law not only covers salmon, but it also covers trout, sea trout, and other protected freshwater fish. And I know you're confused, my friend. Trust me, I was confused too when I read this law, and I'm like, this makes no sense. But when I read it, I realized that it really makes no sense. It's weird. So yeah, let me tell you what this law is for. So they made this law to protect salmon and other fish from poachers. So they're doing it to protect the fish, which is nice, I guess. But you might be curious, right, my friend? You were like, okay, well, then what counts as holding fish suspiciously? Because that's what the law is about. I'll tell you, my friend. So it counts as suspicious if you're holding a fish with no proof where it came from. Also, if you sold fish at strange hours, and if you sold fish way too cheaply, and also if you have fish in hidden bags or containers. Okay, you know what? Even though I told you this law and I read it, it still makes no sense. It's still weird. And you can get a fine or even go to court if you handle your fish suspiciously. Like, UK, bro, that's weird. Okay, that's really weird. It's also illegal to bet at a library in the UK. Seriously. Like, it's illegal to gamble, bet, or play any game of chance for money inside of a public library, because libraries are meant to be quiet and safe places for reading and studying, and gambling can be loud and it would distract people who are reading. But the thing is, you can play games and you can be loud as long as you don't bet money. But once you put money, then it's illegal. And I don't care if they tell people not to bet. My question is, why a library? Like, the fact that they made it a law means that a lot of people gambled at a library, so they had to make it a law. Like, what was going on in the UK?